more than that. It is that I want things. I want a lot of material things. That's what lust means. It's not only physical. It's just greed for material things, to indulge in yourself with anything, even if you want to eat a lot of sweets or some, I don't know, get some food non-stop. That's lust too. It goes under that definition. And the world is driven by karma and lokha. Lokha, it means greed. Greed is everything. It's like I want more for myself, more material things. And people, they are so addicted to sex, money, and as a result of it, their heart full of dirt, impurity, which we need to remove from our hearts. People life is for is meant to be to remove that impurity from your heart, and this is something that nobody teach you in any colleges and universities. It's just you need to join certain societies, that like Society of Krishna consciousness, to listen about God, to listen about pure things, absolute truth. Then you can, it will help you to purify your heart. So the reason why I'm reading it for you right now is just what we are going to do at this moment after this reading is we are gonna sing Maha Mantra. It's the purest mantra that was given to us by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came here just only 500 years ago. It's not that far. It's really not that far if you think about it. So, and he brought the easiest, since we are living in the Kali Yuga, and this is the easiest way to try to purify your heart, to be a little bit closer to God, and it gives you some thoughts how we can be closer to absolute truth. And before we start that, I wanted to give you a little bit more, a little bit information about Maha Mantra. Not that far ago, I think that was somewhere in 90s, one professor in Palo Alto University, Stanford University, he completed his PhD program, and what he did an experiment. He had 3 group of people, and one group was before the experiment started, he gave them the questionnaire, and that questionnaire was based on the he worked with psychiatrists, and they collected the questions in the way that as soon as you answer the question, you the people who will review the answers, they can identify at what level that person is. Because right now we are talking in our material world, we have 3 main gunas that driving our world. It is tamas, rajas, and sattva. Those words are in Sanskrit. Tamas is ignorance, rajas is passion, and sattva is purity. It's holiness, goodness. All right, so all that questionnaire was done before the experiment started to identify at what level, where in those 3 categories participants are falling into. All right, and some people used to drink, some people used to smoke, they obviously ate meat, and but still they collected a really diverse group for that. So they completed the survey, completed questionnaire. Then professor divided in 3 groups. One group was given the Maha Mantra, real Maha Mantra that we're gonna sing right now. The other group was doing nothing. They were told, okay, for 15 days you are not gonna do anything, live whatever you want, whatever you live. And the third group was given some gibberish mantra, like blah blah blah, Coca-Cola, something like that, right? And after 15 days, he collected groups again, and he gave them new questionnaire, a questionnaire that was conducted pretty much in the same way to identify what level of tamas, rajas, and sattva is in that group. And then as a result of those three groups, people who repeat Maha Mantra, some of them who was smoking, they start asking, why am I drinking? Why am I smoking? Why am I eating meat? And the way how they answer questions, it was showing obviously that their mode going towards sattva. The people who was doing nothing, they stayed at the same level. And the people who were doing this gibberish mantra, they pretty much stay at the same level. So, and Guy actually, he completed his PhD based on those researches. So what we're gonna do right now, we will try to bring ourselves a little bit closer to sattva, all right, and try to purify our heart.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Gauranga Prasad
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hananyaya Maya Sarvam Idam Pratam Satremani Dana Iva.
Повторяем,
No, we're not. Translation. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on the thread. What a beautiful verse. Rapport. So can you read first paragraph or just a little bit, couple of sentences too?
На русском, на
No,
английском?
English.
Издеваешься надо мной.
No, you cannot?
Пускай Лили делает.
Okay, Lily,
I'll try.
go ahead.
There is a common controversy over whether the supreme absolute truth is personal or impersonal. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, and this is confirmed in every step. In this verse in particular, it is stressed that the absolute truth is a person. That the personality of Godhead is the supreme absolute truth is also the affirmation of the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha. That is, the supreme absolute truth personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna, who is the primeval Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure, Govinda, and the eternal form of complete bliss and cause of all causes.
All right, can you continue? The authorities.
These authorities leave no doubt that the absolute truth is the supreme person, the cause of all causes. The impersonalists, however, argue on the strength of the Vedic version given in Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Tato yat uttara taram tad arupam anamayam, yat eta vidir atmastem bhavanti ad hekare dukham evapiyanti. In the material world, Brahma, the primeval living entity within the universe, is understood to be the supreme among the demigods, human beings, and lower animals. But beyond Brahma, there is a transcendence who has no material form and is free from all material contaminations. Anyone who can know him also becomes transcendental, but those who do not know him suffer from the miseries of the material world.
Julie,
The impersonalist puts more stress on the word arupam, but this arupam is not impersonal. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, as described in the Brahma Samhita quoted above. Other verses in Shvetavata Upanishad substantiate this as follows.
Mahamantam Purusha Mahantam Adityavarnam Tamashaham Parastat Tamava Viditvati Mritutyam Yeti Nyaha Panta Viditate Anaya Tasmat Param Nara Paramasti Kinchid Yasman Mantyo no Jayo Stikinchid Vriksha Stapho Divitistaitiyakas Denadam Purnam Purushana Sarvam. I know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all material conceptions of darkness. Only He knows Him who can transcend the bonds of birth and death. There is no way for liberation other than this knowledge of that Supreme Person. There is
Next, we just want.
There is no truth superior to that Supreme Person because He is the supermost. He is smaller than the smallest, and He is greater than the greatest. He is situated as a silent tree, and He illumines the transcendental sky. And as a tree spreads its roots, He spreads His extensive energies.
Go ahead. Okay. From these verses, one concludes that the Supreme Absolute Truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all-pervading by His multi-energies, both material and spiritual.
Ja. Thank you, Ja. It's absolutely beautiful verse. I love it because the way how Krishna describes himself, that I'm a thread that holds all those beads, pearls on one. It's invisible, but everything holds together. And here, obviously, we have this translation by Srila Prabhupada, who explains that God is a personality, He's a person, He's individual, and we need to learn about Him and understand who He is. That's why I want to tell you probably a little bit, digress a little bit. In materialistic school, teacher who is Mayavadi, who doesn't believe in God, first day at school she decided to teach kids, kids, there is no God. Let's show Him our tongue and say, God, you do not exist.
Oh my God.
And all kids start doing that. And one kid is not doing, and she's saying, Johnny, why you are not showing your tongue and not saying that there is no God? And Johnny replied, you know what? If there is no God, why are we doing that? To whom we are showing our tongue? But if there is a God, I don't want to start on bad terms. So we don't want to start on bad terms. And we really would like to learn about God, who He is. And that is really described here, that everything in this universe, it's Him, everything, every single particle. Even if some people are saying, even for new people who kind of still on the fence, they don't know where we are, what are we here, right? Trust me, there is a God, because you cannot prove that He doesn't exist, or you cannot prove that He exists. But His existence is everywhere. If you take a look at the old scriptures, even in Srimad Bhagavatam, you can find that those verses we're reading in, some people are saying, oh, people wrote those verses. Yes, they wrote those verses, but they wrote it based on the God was telling them what to write, and everything is in Sanskrit, written in poetic form. You cannot, if somebody decided to rewrite it, you cannot replace one word, because it's gonna ruin entire sentence, it's gonna ruin the meaning. You cannot change the word. It means that how many times that scripture was rewritten in Sanskrit, it remains the same, pure, whatever God was telling us at that point. And there you can find scientific evidence that in Srimad Bhagavatam you can find the measurement of the sound speed, the speed with what sound is moving, and the sunlight is moving. And our scientists only mid last century discovered that and calculated that. So whom should I trust? It's already there. It was given there. The Upanishads, they described our universe. They described how many planets, how they are moving, what their relationship. Everything is there. It means that somebody more intelligent, who created this world. And see the simple thing, yes, you can probably go to junkyard and put explosion and expect that the Bentley will appear after that. That's what theory was given to us, that some, I don't know, the stock was boiling and then we start progressing from one to another. No, the simple thing cannot produce more complex and intelligent thing. Only higher intelligent can produce something complex, not the simple one. So that's what it is. It's like a boy come to mom and said, Mom, you told me that we God created us, but Daddy is saying that we derived from monkeys. And Mom saying, don't worry, I'm telling you about my relatives, and Daddy is telling you about my relatives. So there are two ways. There are two ways to understand, right, what it is. And we have a couple of questions right now. We read the verse, and you have the text in front of you. And pardon me, I'm wearing multiple glasses because I didn't bring my reading glasses. That's why I'm doing this funny thing. So ignore me. Okay, so the question number one, with what we can compare the pearls that was spoken in the verse, and what is representing the thread? So that's your thought. What is representing pearls and what is representing thread in this verse? Grupa.
Krishna.
Thread, it's
Yes.
Krishna. Thread, it's Krishna
Thread is
who
Krishna.
hold everything together.
Right? And pearls?
Us.
Right.
Planets, anything.
Everything. Every single particle of material world, everything. Us, planets, universe, and not only one, because we know that Mahavishnu produces multiple universes, and our universe is the it's enclosed system. That's why we have this deterioration everywhere. It's nothing exists forever here. So, and our universe is the smallest one among all universes that coming from Vishnu's body. All right. So, second question. All right.
Tricky
Okay.
one, yeah?
Could you please?
Tricky one.
Yeah, tricky one. Yeah. Could you please show an example that was listed? I'm translating from. That's why I'm so slow. Sorry. Could you please show the example from the text that proves that God is the personality, and He is absolute truth and superior, and He is the main ruler of spiritual and material world.
Brahma Samhita. That's the
Read.
Yeah.
Please read. Yeah.
That the personality of Godhead is the supreme absolute truth is also the affirmation of the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachinananda Vigraha. That is the supreme absolute truth personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna, who is the primeval Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure, Govinda, and the eternal form of complete bliss and cause of all causes.
For those who maybe doesn't know what Satchitananda Vigraha means, Sat it's sattvic, it's bliss. Ananda is
Ananda is bliss.
no. Ananda is bliss, and Sat is eternity, bliss, and knowledge, and Vigraha is the form. So that's what it is. It just God is representing all those three qualities. It is bliss, eternity, and knowledge. Just endless knowledge that He shares with
Vedas
us.
describe the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the original person. So basically, if the Vedic, at the Vedic opinion, there's God and his energies, nothing else. So basically, he has spiritual world. He created the using his energy, internal spiritual energy, the spiritual world where he internally enjoys with his associates. He created a material world because and he created marginal energy. So marginal energy would be the spiritual souls, like we all are, in fact. And since God has free will, freedom of choice, he gave the same qualities to the living beings, to the spiritual souls. So, and either soul decides to serve God and stays in the spiritual world, either it goes to the material world where they can explore and try themselves in the role of God, basically. So, but in fact, Vedas view the God a little bit different than, for example, other religions. They see it in a three, not forms, but epastasi. Aspects, right?
Aspects, yeah.
So it is the supreme person whose body is very. We are created similarly to the God at appearance. However, God has his body is spiritual, so he doesn't have material hands, eyes, but it's all spiritual. As I don't know how to explain it. I guess I didn't realize it myself.
No one can.
But oh yeah, there are some people.
No sound, but still. It's,
So he has big huge effulgence that actually goes from him. So this is the impersonal aspect of God. So it's called Brahman in Sanskrit. And also there is a localized aspect in the material world. It's called Param Atma. So it is super soul. Basically, inside of the heart of every living entity, God kind of reflected himself as a super soul. And sometimes we can feel him as intuition or the gut feeling. So, but in this way, when we speak about God in his spiritual abode, his body is full of bliss, full of knowledge, and full of eternity. And in fact, scriptures also describe that God comes to the different planets, including planet Earth, at different times to associate with and protect his devotees and kill so-called demons or people who are, souls who are against God. But it's also in absolute understanding benefit for them. And when the God appears to the material world, he does not appear, even though it looks like he is getting birth like an ordinary person, in fact, his body is the same spiritual body, full of transcendental, means beyond our understanding, full of bliss, knowledge, and eternity. So, in fact, just to bring it up, I know it's actually a very revolutionary idea that God is a person, but another day we were reading some Srimad Bhagavatam, and I kind of Srila Prabhupada says in one place that in fact it's okay to understand God as impersonal. It's step towards understanding as a personality. At the same time, if people stuck at the understanding that God is impersonal, sometimes they don't have responsibility. Oh, God doesn't see it. I can do whatever I want. Maybe I can, break the rules, so to say. So therefore, it's kind of. Another thing is Vedas also described it very interesting that once you advance in a spiritual path, once you cleanse your consciousness and your mind from material things, you can start developing relationship with God. And there are different type of relationship, like a servant, like a neutral relationship, maybe like to the supreme, like a servant, as a parent towards God, as a friend, and as a lover, which is not in a material sense.
Like a parent to a child.
Right. Not. It's all non-material relationship, but it's. it's interesting anyway. Thank you.
Thanks for your sharing.
And the rate what mango is. And if somebody wants you to tell you eat mango, you say okay, whatever, I can eat, I cannot. But since we know what happiness is, we definitely know because we are seeking for happiness here. We want it, so we knew it because we used to be in those spiritual world, and then we became envy of God, and we decided, oh, I want to be boss. I want to do whatever I want. And then God was he is so loving person that he tells us, okay, if you want to play, you cannot play God because this place is already taken. It's me. And if you want to play by yourself, I will create you a sandbox. Here you go. And that's why he respect our free of will. He's not holding anybody. He's, if you want to go. But that's how we are here.
Sitting on the sandbox and crying, please give me a chance.
Come back. And the reason why we're thinking, oh my God, oh what the heck, I already play enough.
So for this moment, it feels like you say that God's don't keep anyone, so do whatever you want. So, but in some case, he should have better told us, don't go to that sandbox. So maybe we were smarter and not changing our lives or creating these miseries.
Right, exactly. And
Like a strict parent,
right,
not
right.
like a tolerant. Like
But see, at some point he is a strict parent. But see, he respects the freedom of will. He is not treating us as a dumb child, for instance, if he doesn't know better, and
But
he
we
can.
are.
Yeah, we are definitely we are, and we sort of abuse that freedom, and that's how we end up here. All right, let's read another question.
Thank you.
All right, what is the benefit for us to understand and recognize that Supreme Personality of Godhead exists?
again, please.
Who?
What the
Again,
question
please.
is?
The question. Yeah.
Okay. What is the benefits for us to understand the knowledge about Supreme Personality of God? What is the benefits for us that we know that God exists?
So maybe this one, that anyone who can know him also becomes transcendental, but those who don't know him suffer the miseries of the material world.
Exactly. That's in the text. Yeah, exactly. And even that's good quote. And also I want to share my personal experience why it's better, because I was on the other side of the fence. I was totally materialist. I was atheistic person, and I thought that okay, all those months, just nothing serious. And I know that my life changed as soon as I opened my mind and start and just let God come to me. Actually come to me, the philosophy and the knowledge. And then I start understanding the better, I started understand better people around first, and second I become calmer and happier. Seriously, it's happier. That's my personal. That's why
So that means
what
knowing God.
advantage?
Yeah.
Advantage, it just gives you knowledge. It gives you understanding of this world. If you think about how complex this system is, if you just, I remember that while I was a kid, and we were sitting at night, and I looked at the sky, and I saw all those tiny sparkles, and I thought, oh my God, there is no end. There is no end to this. And I tried to imagine how, but there is an end. Can you believe that there is an end? And if you think about in all that darkness, the little planet of Earth, it just levitates there and moves in a certain order. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling. Everything is in order.
Yes,
And
it
that-
works like clock.
Exactly, it works like a clock, and that's why it just you cannot you cannot even, your mind even cannot fully understand the magnificent and the magnitude of God and His creation. So.
But what kind of suffering are we talking about? I don't suffer. I'm fine.
Just because
Oh,
you know.
you're fine. No, we have 3 types of sufferings here in this world. 3 types of sufferings, from other people who likes to step on your foot every time, especially your relatives. They really know how to press your button. Then you explode.
Yeah,
From-
but just even like physically, somebody might hurt you.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah. So from other people,
Yes.
from yourself, because you can have these thoughts in your mind and you can drive yourself nuts, and from the nature, from whatever is happening here. When rains is going down or when tornado is going down, you cannot do that anything. It just, you suffer, right? Or this storm comes, you cannot go outside, you're stuck. You sit at home, and thank God you have a warm glass of milk and fireplace, and you can sit and read something, right? So that's 3 types of suffering in this world, and you can third.
Which one was
First, from yourself,
Mhm.
from other living beings, and from environment, from the nature.
The
3.
self is from the mind.
Yeah, from your mind. Yeah, from your mind. Yeah, from your mind.
But also it says that actually there are sufferings from the birth, because we suffer physically, that we are getting old and die, get
Yeah.
sick.
Get sick.
Yeah, birth, death, and disease. Those another 3 things that we cannot avoid in this
Well, I
world.
think it's more, like in your head than you.
Exactly. Yes, but not
Mine.
yes. In your
Yeah,
mind.
it's mine. No, it's like you just no. When I get sometimes you feel that this like
This balance.
this balance when you like getting sick, and then like you just did something what's really like gonna make you sick. Like I don't know, maybe you went outside, it was wet outside, and you just like feeling it. So you have to fight that thing. That's what I do. I just did you fight somehow and set it up your mind, and after that you're not gonna get sick.
Right.
When you're 86.
What?
When you're 86.
Same thing. Same
When
thing.
86,
You're gonna be
come
doing
on.
the same.
About 86, like a 96-old woman ran the marathon. That's enough for me.
Yes.
That's enough for me. So I know it's like just the age. I'm always like telling like the age and the temperature. It's how you feel like.
It's just a number.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it
a
just-
number. It's like how you feel like. You know, it's like really in Urals when I was like growing up. Minus 40, I can tell like a minus 40 Fahrenheit, minus 40 like the Celsius. It's pretty much the same. It sucks, and you don't wanna go outside. But when it's a minus 35, you feel so amazing after the minus 40. So it just kind of like, but if you brought this thing to any normal person after the 60 or Fahrenheit here, of course it's like are you insane or something?
Yeah.
So it's in your brain, and most of the stuff it's like it's a scariness what's going on in your brain.
That's true. In your mind. Yeah.
Your mind is
Yeah.
like,
And that's what makes you miserable.
And
Yeah.
that's why Bhagavad Gita
Yeah, exactly.
says,
That's
develop higher consciousness, then you won't be affected by all this.
Yeah. Yeah.
really?
No, seriously, you.
Identify yourself as your body. You're totally transcendental. You're not this body, so okay, well, it has nothing to do with me.
As a
Suffering
soul.
is to do with the body. But
Right.
you cannot do this artificially, but
Yeah.
if you develop this Krishna consciousness or consciousness that I am part of Krishna and I'm soul, it's like okay, well, it's a car, it's broken, it's a big deal.
It's like another fresh wound, right?
That's true. And see, and again, I don't know how about you guys, but for me, I stopped to be afraid of dying. It's nothing. It's just, okay, that's fine. It's just your role played, and you just put your suit aside and you went. And that's how, when my mom died, I didn't understand the concept of Krishna consciousness. And then, but when my dad died, a year ago, almost a year ago, that was totally different feeling and understanding. I just understood the concept, and it helped me to cope with my grief, and it's really helping because you understand the meaning, what is happening. it's not that that was not that painful. Okay, we have another question. Interpreted the scriptures in order to prove that Supreme Lord is not a person. How impersonalists interpret the scriptures to prove that God is not a person.
They say the Vedic scripture says it's arupam. In front of the word means opposite. Then rupa means form. And arupam, he doesn't have form, so it means it's impersonal. While Srila Prabhupada explains that arupa means he doesn't have a material form, as we just discussed earlier. He has a spiritual form, which is such Chit Ananda, full of knowledge, eternity, and bliss.
Yeah.
But he is a vigraha, a form.
Yeah, form. And also one thing that I'm thinking, that if you think about Brahman, right? That's why
impersonal.
Yes. Why impersonalists are talking about they are refusing to understand the concept of personal aspect of God, because they are concentrated on impersonal part of God, which exists. It's Brahmajyoti. It's there, right? And again, some people, we all are gonna leave this body sooner or later, right? And impersonalists, they are not believe in personal relationship with God, then they will join Brahmajyoti. They are not gonna sit somewhere in vacuum.
But explain the Brahmajyoti is that impersonal.
Yes,
the effulgence of
yes, exactly. So it again, it just it is expansion, right? Expansion of God. So that's what it is, and that's why He allows them to stay there again for a while. But then they need to go back to understand and learn that God is a personal being, and all of us have relationship with Him. We just forgot about those relationships, and we need to, again, why we call it religion, we need to rebind ourselves. Ligament, it's a binding, right? We need to rebind ourselves with our relationship to God, and then it depends what type of relationship you want. As Bhagavad said before, you can have a loving relationship as lovers, as parents, as mother and child. It depends, but still you need to understand that He's a person. Why we consider ourselves, I'm a person, I'm individual, but why God should not be a person? He's a person. He is supreme Lord. Question?
Can I just
Yeah, sure.
I'm thinking, because we see that the universe works like a clock. So it's complex, but it works, yes? And we cannot see Him. But I think about Him like a friend who I don't know, but who likes me and helps me a lot. And I see a lot of examples in my life which happened with the help of somebody or something. Yes, I call it God, because I see this sequence of events that were really beneficial for us. So I have no doubts at all. So it's not thinking about a form of thinking. So maybe you start noticing the events that happens that were beneficial for you.
Yeah, and again, sometimes those sequence and events can start from really bad thing, really
Yes.
bad thing, and you think,
Or may end with a
holy
bad
smoke,
thing.
why I am in this situation now? And then after a certain period of time, you think, oh, without that, I would not have this right now. And that is such a bright example. And I bet that everybody in your life, you can find those events in your life. Okay, абсолютная истина. Let me read it in Russian first, and then I will translate. Sorry. Абсолютная истина в конечном счете безлична. Это применение текста. Отвергните это утверждение с помощью цитаты из священных писаний, логики и свидетельств преданных. Okay, that's pretty much what we.
It's a pretty next.
Yes. So here's this saying. I'm trying to translate it. That absolute truth it's not a person. It doesn't have the personal aspect. So just give an example and say that it's not true.
Just try to disprove.
Yes, try to disapprove it. Try to disapprove it. That the absolute truth is not an person. Okay. It's in the.
No, I don't dispute. So I just believe. So that's not a question for me.
The supreme person because he's a supermost.
Mm-hmm.
He's a smaller than the smallest, and he's a greater than the greatest. He's situated in a silent tree, and he's illuminates in transcendental sky, and the tree spreads its roots. He spread his extensive energy.
Mm-hmm.
This is it?
Yeah.
Nice quote.
Yeah, it's a really good quote. And so which is
This a tree? Is it tree?
Yeah, he sits on a tree, silent tree.
Basically, we're like our universe, right? If we're gonna like just microscopic, it's like something like a crazy happening over there, and like if you were to just look in the sky, it's the same thing. Like you really don't know what's going on.
I think also Vedas make that comparison. The spiritual world is like a tree, basically, with its leaves and roots and branches. And have you ever seen the trees next to the lake when you see the reflection? So in the material world, it's compared to the reflection of that spiritual tree.
Down.
It's all the same, but it's not real. Even though you see, like now I see the reflection of Olga in this table, but it's not her. She's actually behind it. So, and I think that comparison is all over the Vedic literature, in a sense. And they give different parallels with that tree thing. So.
Right. And we are pretty much done with our questions, but what I would like to tell about right now, because it's so close. At the beginning we were speaking about that we need to repeat the transcendental name of God. We need to repeat Maha Mantra. And why is that? Why do we need to do that, right? To purify our soul, to try to purify our heart, because all of us still have a lot of dirt in it, and we have greed, we have lust, we have envy. We do. If you kind of dig deeper, we do. We all do. At least I'm speaking for myself. That's true. And sometimes you caught yourself in the thoughts and think, oh my God, what the heck? Why am I envy of this, right? Yes. Then exactly. And I would like to speak about a little bit about Narasimha. It's because we just celebrated the Narasimha Chaturdashi. It's a wonderful holiday. I know that most of you knows who Narasimha is. God comes to this planet in different forms in certain period of time to protect his devotees and people who really believe in God. And he comes to protect them and to bring knowledge. Sometimes religion goes into the forgotten state, and people start forgetting God. And at that point, God comes to us to remind us that we need to remember about him. So this Narasimha holiday that we celebrated was the day when God Narasimha appears on this earth to protect his very dear devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj was a little boy. He was born in family of demons, Hiranyakashipu. The name of Hiranyakashipu means gold and bed, soft, nice bed, which represents the greed and lust in us. So he was a demonic person, and he was demon at the level that even semi-gods, they were trembling as soon as he just even raised his brow, they were, oh my God, what is going to happen now? He was angry, always drunk, and he got his benediction from Brahma, actually, because he was doing austerities. He was praying to God, and he was standing in on one hand, and he was doing those austerities for so many years. Then even flame start popping up from his head, and then semi-gods was saying, oh my goodness, it's so hot, please Brahma, do something about it, we can't stand it anymore, something is going to happen, the universe is going to collapse. And then Brahma approached Hiranyakashipu, and he asked him, okay, I am pleased with your austerities, what do you want, what really you want? And then Hiranyakashipu start saying, give me immortal. And then Brahma say, hey dude, I cannot do that. No, I am mortal. I'm gonna die. Yes, I'm gonna live for the long time, but I'm not gonna be immortal. I cannot give you this benediction to be immortal. And then Hiranyakashipu decided to play smart. He said, okay, give me your blessings that nobody can kill me. Not a human, not an animal, any other, any weapon, anything, not a bomb, not a arrow, not anything. Then give me benediction that I cannot die during the day or during the night. Give me benediction that I will not die in the sky or on earth. Give me the benediction that yeah, that's pretty much it. So he put together every possible scenario how he can die, how a normal human being can die. And Brahma said, okay, you have my benedictions. And then Hiranyakashipu became extremely powerful demon, that everything was upside down. Let's say if during the winter he wanted to have a peach, he was able to make tree produce the peach for him. So that's why semi-gods, they were so trembling, they were afraid, what the heck is going on, we are so suffering here. And in his family, Hiranyakashipu, one boy was born, and his name Prahlada Maharaj. And the reason why he was such a devotion for God, because when his mom was pregnant, and Hiranyakashipu at that point he was doing all those austerities, he started doing his austerities. Her mom became pregnant, and semi-god decided, oh, we need to kill her because she's gonna produce another demon, such a strong one. No, we don't want him. And then I think Brahma or somebody told them, hey guys, you cannot do that. She's a pregnant woman. Let's place her in ashram of Narada Muni, who is very loved devotee of God, and she spent time in ashram. And while Prahlad Maharaj was in her womb, he listened all those mantras and teachings and preachings, and he observes, because everything in this universe is the waves, everything is waves. So that's why through the sound, he observes everything. That's why even now doctors are saying you need to talk to your child when he's in womb, because he understands everything, he knows everything. So that's how Prahlad Maharaj appears in a family of demons with such devotion to God, and he was praying to Vishnu. He was absolutely devoted. Even if he was attending a school where demons were taught things to do opposite to godness, he was still praying to Vishnu, and he was teaching them that what need to be done. And Hiranyakashipu tried even kill his son. He tried to throw him through the mountain. He tried to push him into the room with a lot of snakes, and nothing worked on him. Nothing whatsoever. And Hiranyakashipu was angry, just like no tomorrow. He didn't know what to do. He's my son. What the heck? He's preaching for Vishnu. I'm the god here. I'm practically immortal. I can do whatever I want, and this I cannot even make this little boy to obey me. He was angry. He was crazy angry. And at that point that he decided that he's going to kill himself. He took his sword and he said, okay, now I'm going to kill you. Who is going to protect you? Where is your God? Where is your God? Where he is? And Hiranyakashipu and Prahlada Maharaj was saying, he's everywhere. So he's absolutely everywhere. And then Hiranyakashipu said, so he's in this column, and he strike with his sword the column, and from the column, the huge rocket start appearing, and then Narasimhadev appears. Narasimhadev, that was God who appears at that moment. He was his half part, first half of his head was lion, and the second part of his body was human. He has claws with huge paws with huge claws, and he started roaring. It was so scary that even Hiranyakashipu, for a second, he started trembling. Oh my God, something is really happening right now. And then it began fight between Narasimhadev and Hiranyakashipu. At that point, semi-gods, yes! And they start watching this fight. What is going to happen? So, that fight continues, I think, for a couple of days. And that at the dawn, that was no day, no night, Narasimhadev grabbed Hiranyakashipu, put on his knees on the door frame. That was not in the house, not on the street. It was not on the sky, not on the earth. So he actually satisfied all conditions. He covered all. Yes, exactly. It's not the weapons. It's clothes. It was clothes. He satisfied all conditions that Brahma gave benediction to Hiranyakashipu, and he ripped him apart. So when he ripped him apart, everybody was, semi-gods were happy. They were totally happy. And then God took Prahlad Maharaj on his knees and ask me whatever you want, because he was so pleased with Prahlad Maharaj, his devotion, his love, and his prayers. And he said, ask me whatever you want. And Prahlad Maharaj said, please grant liberation for my father. So it's just amazing story. It is totally amazing story. I love it because the meaning of it, that at that point, Narasimhadev killed not only Hiranyakashipu. So we need to pray to Narasimhadev to help him to kill in us, in our heart, all those bad qualities as greed, lust, envy, and everything that Hiranyakashipu was representing. So that's pretty much it for that.
Are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready. I remember when in some of lectures that devotees, the earliest devotees who were close to Srila Prabhupada, they were building ashrams and temples, and Srila Prabhupada asked one painter to paint Narasimhadev. And he was decided, okay, let's paint this scene when Narasimha is ripping apart Hiranyakashipu. And then he was looking at the work, he was saying, more blood, more blood. Just show me more blood. So show that merciless, that how we need to rip all those bad qualities from our heart. Okay, so that's pretty much it.
Okay. No, yes.
I will put it over here because it's I will drink for tea. Sure.